boxing fans here with Jamie Moore. Jamie, a bit cold out there. It's freezing, mate.
I hate the cold.
Like me, I've got my fur coat on today, mate. I'm not even taking it off.
Pimped up there.
Let's talk about why you're here. Rocky Fielding, I just spoke to him, and I spoke to Buddy McCurt as well. He said, look, this guy's a veteran, he's experienced, he knows what he's doing in that ring. How much more has Rocky got in that? If he wins on Saturday night, it seems like the doors open up for him again.
Of course, yeah, he's plenty left in the tank, and just been interviewed there a few times talking about his inactivity going to play a part. He's not really been that active over the last couple of years, but he's been training. He's had a couple of fights, little takeover fights, but so in an ideal world we would want to be more active. But he's you've also got to weigh up the positives and the negatives of that, and the positives of it are he's 34, nearly 35. I don't know how old he is, but 34, 35. But his miles on the clock has been kept low. So even though he's got older, he's still got the experience, but he's been active in terms of being in the gym, and he's been training, so his tools are still sharp, but he's not got the miles on the clock what you've got when you're in there with tough fights. So I think he's got the balance right, and it come at a good time for him. He was active, he was training in the gym when the call came to see if he fancied this fight, and it's an opportunity where it puts him right in the mix with all the light heavyweights in Britain in some big fights.
Yeah, I did speak to him, and he said, "Listen, it's not something that I wanted to do. I was asking for fights. I just didn't get the fights at that point. So it's not something that he wanted." Dan Azeez, though, he's somebody who's on the rise. Obviously, British champion, Commonwealth titles on the line on Saturday night. What do you make of Dan's career so far?
Yeah, I like him. Like I said, I enjoy watching him. I'm a fan. That haggler style, which you can see he styles himself on. I was a big haggler fan as well, so yeah, I like him. He's a nice kid. He seems like a down-to-earth, good guy. This is boxing. I did it myself. I fought my mates, and this is what you got to do. But the one thing I will say is, instantly, as soon as Rocky sort of mentioned this fight potentially, as soon as that happens, my sort of tactical brain starts going and all the clockwork, and straight away I just thought, this is a great fight for Rocky, because stylistically he's really good with fighters who are confident, who come forward and try and apply that pressure on him, and because that's where he finds his best work. And so it's like tossing a coin, really. He has to gamble, he has to put himself in a position where he's vulnerable to get his best work off, and 9 times out of 10 he comes out on top because he punches so hard. His record doesn't actually do him justice of how hard he punches. So and I know Dan has got a really good chin, he's in great shape, which tick each box, and then you go, it's a great fight on paper. It's a great fight. But I really fancy Rocky's chances, and I know if Dan tries to mix it up and tries to go on the back foot and try and change his shape and stuff on Rocky, I know what Rocky's like on the front foot. He can get real tall and keep people at range and time him into shots. So yeah, the unknown question is what people have been saying. Has he been out of the ring too long? Has he been at that level? So I think these are all unknown questions we need to have the answer to. But the best Rocky Fielding and the best Dan Azeez create a fantastic fight.
They do indeed, and hopefully we get to see that on Saturday night. I do want to talk about another fighter, obviously, that Rocky fought in the super middles, who's moved up to light heavyweight in Callum Smith. I spoke to Rocky just then, and I just wanted to get your input. We've seen him fight light heavy in the last 2 fights. Yeah. Seems to be carrying that power over. Yeah. Seems to be a little bit. Looks like he's comfortable, very comfortable. Yeah. Do you feel like he can become world champion in that division?
Listen, it's all about opportunity. The same thing as what happened with him at super middleweight. He was a stat division at the time, and then all of a sudden the opportunity came up and he took it with both hands. So I believe in Rocky's ability. I know he can be a world champion. He just needs to get the opportunity at the right time. I said to him 3 years ago, forget super middle. You're a light heavyweight. He's a big super middleweight, and he did try a couple of times with the super middleweight still, but he did. This opportunity came along, and he said, what, let's just do it. So I'm a big believer in fate. Everything happens for a reason. Right place at the right time, and he was in the gym ticking over, which is always difficult to get a fighter at his age and stage of his career, because they've been doing it that long. It's hard to keep them ticking over in the gym. So usually they'll get a fight day and then they'll start training. He was in the gym ticking over. So I said, timing of it, right place at the right time, couldn't have been any better. And let's see if fate takes its course on Saturday.
Of course, another fight I do want to talk about is Callum Smith, who's in the same route. Obviously, he's become world champion, but fighting at light heavy. Can Callum sort of do what he needs to do in that division?
Yeah, of course. Listen, Callum's a phenomenal fighter, and he's only lost the very best in Canelo. But yeah, he's bigger in many ways than Rocky. So everyone has been saying for years, how on earth he makes super middle is beyond us. So I'm pretty certain that'll suit him down to the ground. And yeah, I think Callum Smith's a fantastic fighter. I think he can definitely win a world title as well.
Do you want to talk about
the mix? By the way, the mix in Britain is unbelievable. I mean, look at Anthony Yarde fighting Beterbiev, and that in itself is a phenomenal fight. And I don't think people are actually giving Anthony Yarde as good a chance as he's got, because as talented as Beterbiev is and how good he's been over the years, he's also shown vulnerabilities, and Anthony Yarde can punch. So I think he's got a great chance to get Beterbiev. I think he's got more of a chance than actually people are giving him credit for.
I was actually going to ask you about that fight, but you've answered my question before I asked it, which is fair enough. Do you want to talk about another fight in your stable in Jack Catterall? We've been waiting for that rematch with Josh Taylor. We're getting, obviously, we're hearing it's going to be next year, now early next year. But just talk to me about that fight. What is Jack doing at this present time? Is he taking out? He's
always in the gym. He's never out of the gym. Honestly, at least 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Fridays in my gym, and that's not including the other stuff. He lives for this sport, and before the Taylor fight, he was out of the ring 17 months, but his timing and distance was there because of how disciplined he is, how dedicated he is to the sport. So he's still going to have been a year out or just over if it's the muted date, which is early March, is going to take place. But he's been in the gym all the time. He spars once a week. His tools are kept as sharp as they possibly can be without actually competing and boxing. So I've no issue with it, and I actually think he'll be better this time, because even though he's 5 months difference, he's still closer to the fight last time, and he's now been in there with Josh. And even though we believed in it and he believed in himself, you still don't actually know the answer to the question until you've done it, which was, is he going to be able to compete at this level? And he did, and many like many of us believed he deserved to get a win, and we get the opportunity to put that right.
Since then, Josh Taylor's moved trainer, moved to Joe McAnally. But seeing what you see of Jack daily, is there more levels to him? Because we're going to expect a different Josh Taylor, because he knows what he's sort of dealt with in regards to the first fight. Is there other levels, other skill sets that Jack can present on the night to beat Josh if there was a different Josh Taylor on the night? Yeah,
exactly. That's what I mean in terms of what I was saying about Jack not being... He can't have been at his best because he'd been out of the ring for 17 months. And we understand, Josh, moving trainer, will have that, even though Joe McAnally is a very good trainer, top class trainer, top guy, got a lot of time for him. But taking that to a side, any trainer who Josh Taylor goes to, in terms of a placebo effect, will always be there. But then you've got added to that, I know that Joe McAnally is a good trainer. So we're expecting Josh to be better this time. So I know Jack's going to have to be better, but I know he's got it in him, because I see it day in, day out, and I see the improvements, what he's made from last time, and he knows what he's getting now. Josh Taylor, look back through his fights, he's not going to come out here and start trying to be the next coming of Muhammad Ali. He's going to come and try and take Jack's head off. So we know what we're going to get with him. It's just we've just got to make sure we're prepared for that, and be better than we was last time, because we know Josh is.
Just quickly,
simple, really.
Yeah. Just quickly, give me a rundown of the fighters that you've got in the gym right now that you're working with, and when we're expecting to see them out.
So Chantel, we're waiting for a confirmation of her first defence. We're hoping that it's going to be sort of end of March time. Akib Fiaz, he's looking round about March time as well. Sean McGoldrick is looking to fight for the British title. I think it's going to be early February. Gamal Yafai, he's with us now, and he's going to be out end of January, I think they're saying. So that means no break for me over Christmas. I'm just training right through.
Finally, it's actually good to see two of our own players in a World Cup final. Rafael Varane, Lisandro Martinez. That's good to see. I'm only saying it because there's a scout on my left hand side. So it's good to see that, right?
Apparently we've pulled in a right few quid from FIFA from the performances in the World Cup. So it's good to hear. And I don't think Liverpool have pulled in that much, to be honest with you.
Jamie Moore, it's always a pleasure to talk to yourself, mate. Wrap up warm, man. It's cold out there, and good luck to Rocky Fielding. I'll speak to you very soon.